Alright, I'd like to welcome everyone to the March 4th, 2024 Jenkins City Council meeting. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Ernestine.
Here.
Chuck.
Here.
Sean.
Here.
Rick.
Here.
Josh.
Here.
Garnet.
Alright, got a full house. Chuck, if you could, lead some prayer, please.
Dear Lord, we're just thankful to be able to gather here tonight and discuss the business of our city. And Lord, we just pray that as we are discussing the business, that we do so according to your will. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Going to the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty, in your package, you've got a copy of the February meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Having a motion second, all those in favor? Any opposed? Also, the financial report for February is in your packet.
I'll make a motion to approve it as presented.
I'll second it.
Alrighty, have a motion second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Alright, AJ, we're right down to you, big guy.
All right. Good evening. We at CRAD, we have been doing a lot of procurements for the city of Jenkins. I think 6 have been sent out in the month of February. Some of the biddings have happened, but be sure more biddings will be coming. So that is important. In addition, it needs to be made sure that tonight Nesbitt is voted to be the engineer for the Waterline Phase 6 project. So there needs to be a vote on that. And Melissa made a note that she submitted the floodplain and wetland notice of explanation for the City Hall ADA renovations project. And that should be in the paper this Wednesday. And I don't really have anything else. Is there any questions or concerns?
No, that's the highlights. The CRAD's working on a lot of stuff and real busy, so we're trying to keep up with what they need. So we appreciate you. We'll get that resolution, I'll get to you in a moment. All right, Austin, you got the engineer's report?
Yeah. On the engineer's report, first project sees the sewer I Phase 1. That project was bid out here recently, and all bids come in over budget. So me and along with some engineers' office, meet with the mayor, planning this Wednesday to discuss where we're going to go from there on that, what we're going to have to do to work that out.
How far over were they?
I'm not for sure. I haven't seen them personally.
300,000.
300,000 percent-wise, so.
For that one.
Like I said, I haven't seen them personally. I just know they were over on those.
And maybe I ain't supposed to say it on TV, but that's what it was.
We call that way over.
Yeah, well, everything's coming in. All the counties around us and cities, what projects they're bidding are just coming back way higher than initial estimates are going to be, so.
See a lot. The rest of it, you get the City Hall ADA improvements. The CDBG funding has been approved. They're just waiting on the assistance agreement. City Hall, the roof and building improvements, we're seeking funding from CRAD. Waiting on that. The wastewater treatment plant, we provided all the AML documents, and the engineering procurement is ongoing as we speak. And then the water line replacement Phase 6 is seeking funding. I think you mentioned something about that a second ago there.
Yeah, we're working
on that.
Some USDA.
And then there's some project profiles there, the bottom that's been submitted. And then there's a action of approval at the bottom for the revised requisition certification number 1 for the sewer I project.
Okay, we'll get that here in a minute.
And that'll be, that's all I got.
Oh, you need to get back to that board, will you?
Oh,
You
right
good?
at the fair, yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Austin's working over Neon right now with me for Nesbitt, so he'll be coming to some of our meetings. ER Assist, we're still 12 of the 14 FEMA projects are almost done. We closed out right now. They're gathering up all the information on donated resources so we can track ours that the fire department did and other volunteers to help with our matches along the way. As of now, they've come up with about $65,000 worth of activity, and they're still collecting information on that. They're submitting an assistance firefighter grant to the fire department for some new turnout gear. The generator for the water plant and sewer plant, they should be bidding those fairly soon. So we got awarded to change out the old one at the sewer plant and put a new one in at the water plant. There's a little bit of match to them, but it's nothing awful. So a lot of projects going on. I would go over the CRAD stuff a little bit more, but like I said, it's just it's moving not as fast as we'd like for it to move. Jamie mentioned earlier about us getting a $750,000 blue check, and I want to sort of go over that a little bit. You know, people see a check and they think, okay, they've got money in the bank and it's time to go to work. When they present those checks, it's sort of a notification that they've approved the funding, and then we have to jump all through the hoops after that. So we got our project together, got our estimates together, and got it put in, and then we've got approved for the funding. So now we'll have to procure engineers, then we have to get contractor estimates, then bids, bid the project, and then it's a reimbursement piece after that. So we'll work so much in a month, and then we get it back. So anyway, just to let you know, the blue check doesn't mean cash in the bank. So
It's an IOU, isn't it?
yeah, well that'd be better if they put that on the corner. But anyway, it's exciting time. A lot of stuff's happening, and that was a community development block grant facilities grant. So anyway. Alrighty, that gets us down to the revised requisition certificate number 1 for sewer I-9. Similar to the one we had before. I don't know what the difference is in it, but we need to approve it again with the figures that's on it.
I'll make a motion to approve the requisition certificate number 1.
I'll second.
All right, motion second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Alrighty, have you got the clean water resolution, Brenda? Care to read it?
Exhibit 4. Yes, I'm ready, Mayor.
Go ahead.
Resolution of the City of Jenkins accepting the grant approval, approving the grant assistance agreement, authorizing the amendment of the City of Jenkins annual budget, and authorizing their representative to sign all related documents. Whereas the Kentucky General Assembly has appropriated funds for the infrastructure projects in House Bill 1 of the 2022 regular session of the Kentucky General Assembly for the Cleaner Water Program. And whereas the City of Jenkins, the quote grantee, end quote, close friends, has previously determined that it is in the public interest to acquire and construct certain facilities and improvements to the grantee utility system, the quote project, end quote, close friends, semicolon, and whereas the grantee desires funding from the Kentucky Infrastructure Authority, the quote authority, close friends, for the purpose of acquisition and construction of the project, and whereas in order to obtain a grant from the Cleaner Water Program for the project and administered by the authority, the grantee is required to enter into an assistance agreement, the quote agreement, close friends, with the authority. Now therefore, be it resolved by the governing body of the City of Jenkins as follows. Section 1, the grantee hereby accepts the grant award and approves the agreement between the grantee and the authority to provide the necessary funds to the grantee of the project. Section 2, that Mayor Todd Decrease is hereby designated to be the grantee's, quote, authorized official, close quotes, for this project, and is hereby directed and empowered by the grantee to execute the agreement, related documents and agreements, and to otherwise act on behalf of the grantee to effect such grants and to engage a qualified project administrator. Section 3, that the grantee hereby agrees and commits to include by amendment to its annual budget and audit process the receipts and expenditures of the funds subject to the agreement up to and including the date of the project closeout. Section 4, that this resolution shall take effect at the earliest time provided by law. adopted on this fine day of 2024, City of Jenkins, North Carolina, authorized signatory.
All right, entertain a motion to approve the resolution for clean water.
Make the motion that we approve it as read.
I'll second.
Having a motion and a second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Alrighty. RFQ approval for engineers for the sewer plant. Josh and Garnet and Sean was here. I hate to call anybody out Friday evening, but we need to get this done, get it approved for this meeting so we can move forward with that. But Nesbitt Engineering was ready to hire out of the two respondents that we had from it, so entertain a motion to approve Nesbitt Engineering for the sewer plant project.
I'll second it.
Already having a motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, here's a fun one. Fleming Electric property bid.
I wonder who that's about.
I don't know. I'll talk about y'all a little bit. We had one bid.
Best bid.
Okay, pretty good.
The important bit.
Okay, it's on the big compliance form. Alice, is yours?
Yeah, it was my first name.
Okay. Anyway, the link here has put a bid in of $800. Now what this is the old place where the Fleming Electric property was, and the building was tore down and it's not being used. And before we vote on approving or not approving this, what I'd like to say is they purchased the old Army goods store.
Music shop.
Music shop, yeah, okay. Anyway, it's all getting bought, but they bought the music shop, and then that includes the other building that's fallen down, so they're getting ready to, they've got some good plans for it, they're gonna clean it up, neaten it up, and straighten it up. This piece of property is right adjacent to their building, so it fits for what they need.
Did you get the military store too?
No, that's another group of people. They're making an interview.
Sherman's family.
No,
Lawrence, this gentleman named Lawrence.
he's from the pound.
Okay, sorry.
No, they're big.
No, we're tickled to death, both sections of the building have been purchased, and they've been working on cleaning it up, but anyway, if y'all would like to entertain the offer of $800 for the old Fleming Electric property, I don't see us ever doing anything else with it other than it being there, and this will help get it straightened up, cleaned up, and maintained along with the businesses.
I'll make a motion to
I'll
accept
second
the
it.
bid.
Already having a motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll get this to our attorney and he'll take care of it.
Yay.
Yeah, we're tickled that you're all doing that, so all those buildings will get cleaned up. They've got some neat ideas
We're
on
excited.
I'm sure.
stuff to do, so.
Busy.
Yeah, we'll be busy.
Do you want to tell them anything about what you're doing, or you want to wait, or?
Really? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The music shop we're turning into like a coffee shop, music shop, so we'll still have records and music. We'll have a coffee shop in like small east. And then the upstairs apartments, we wanted to make those into Airbnbs.
Oh, that'd be great. Love that, dude.
Yeah. We're excited.
Well, we're excited for you, so
Thank you.
keep up the good work. Already, we've got two roadblocks, one for April 13th and one for May 4th. We usually do them a month at a time, but if you all want to go ahead and, there's no conflict with that.
I'll make a motion to approve them both.
You got a motion to approve both roadblocks, just go here a second.
I'll second it.
All righty, have a second, all those in favor say aye. All right, before we get too far along, Sam, you want to introduce our guest that's going to be helping cover
Okay,
our
I'll
needs for the...
introduce myself to those of you that don't know. Rick, I think, probably doesn't know me yet. My name's Sam Adams. I'm with Mountain Eagle. And we have a new person here who's going to be covering the meetings for us. This is Carolyn Rubens, and she'll be with you all the next time you meet.
We're glad to have you, Carol. I've seen her before, and I couldn't put a name with it to save me, so
Thank the Mountain Eagle for the coverage. We appreciate that.
a lot of stuff going on. It's, I have to get the word out. And while we're getting the word out, next Thursday, at the Rec Center, DCMC Partners is going to have the draft recovery plan for Letcher County, and then our part for the city of Jenkins that they've been working on. And it'll be from 11 to 2 o'clock that morning and 4 to 6 o'clock. It's nothing real structured, but they'll have a plan ready to look at, and you can come by anytime during those times and look at the plan. If you got any questions or want to add anything to the conversation, you're more than welcome to do that. So at the Rec Center this Thursday, March 7th, 11 to 2, and then again 4 to 6. So anybody's welcome to come by and be a part of that. Randall's been researching some of the stuff. You know, the last meeting was a lot of discussion about trash, garbage, and issues. So he's done some research to go back into some of the KRSs and things that we can work on doing that. And Jim's had the litter warden up here too, so we're all working in that right direction right now. So he'll go over those.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. If the council remembers last meeting, and this conversation comes up every spring when winter goes away and spring comes out, you start to think about these even more, and the snow melts, it reveals all the awful stuff under it. So someone had asked what powers does the city have to deal with this problem, and so we have two sets of ordinances, and if you think about the ordinances, they're aimed at different issues. One ordinance is the nuisance ordinance, and that is aimed at compelling people to clean up their property. The second ordinance is the blighted and deteriorated ordinance, or as we call it, the bad ordinance. And that is aimed at taking property. You literally condemn that property, and you take it, the city takes it and owns it. So the end results helps you understand the two different types of ordinances that we have. The nuisance ordinance, then coming back to it, is aimed at various things. I mean, junk cars, even letting bushes grow out where you might block the road or line of sight. It also includes grass that reaches a certain level of height, and general trash and debris that's spread around the home. And so it is much more complicated than the second ordinance. And it has penalties involved, but it also allows the city to enter the property and clean it up and then charge that owner for the expenses that the city incurred in cleaning it up. And if they remain unpaid, they become a lien on the property. Now that's very important because lien rights then allows the city to foreclose on the property just like a bank would foreclose if you borrowed money and didn't pay it. So the city can end up forcing the property to be sold at the courthouse steps. The city doesn't get it, but they can force that property to be turned into money so that it can get its lien paid. So it is a powerful ordinance, and property owners should realize that the city has that particular power just for a nuisance. And we have plenty of them here. I'm sure everybody has a favorite one. But the second ordinance, the blighted and deteriorated, it has its own set of rules. The property has to be vacant, no utilities to it in a couple of years, no taxes paid in 4 years. There's a certain criteria there that property has to meet before you deal with it through that. Now, we have a committee here, the BAD committee, the Blighted and Deteriorated Committee, who gathers this information, and Sarah Brown right now is the chairman, and they vote on it. And it has a process that you all have done before, as you know. They make a recommendation to the city council, up or down. In other words, we recommend you all take that next step. And then you all vote. Once you have all the facts, you vote whether or not to condemn the property. And all along the way is provisions to notify the owner what we're doing, so that they have an opportunity to step in and tear the property down or fix whatever caused it to be blighted and deteriorated. So once you all vote for it, for you new members, once you all vote to condemn, it goes to me. I file a condemnation action, and the city then enters into a lawsuit, and we serve these owners with the notice of condemnation. Appraisers go out and appraise the property, and the city has a right at that point to pay the appraisal, and we'll get a deed for the property. Now, the owner can either take the appraisal, or they can say, no, I want the fair market value of the property fixed by a jury. And so they can take that argument to a jury, have a jury trial on the value, not on the taking. We have a right to take it, and we took it. And so all we're talking about at that point is what was the value of it at the time of the taking. If the jury says it's X amount, and that's the same as the appraisal, and we don't owe any more money. If the jury says no, it was worth 10 times that, then we would owe the extra money. Now, so far, we have condemned, I don't know, 6, 7 properties over the years, and no one has ever took a single one to a jury. Now, that's not because people don't like money. It's because people who owned it didn't care at day one. They didn't care what happened to it. Most of the time, they're not from here. They're third generation. Their grandpa owned it. They don't know where Bird Island is no more. They barely know where Kentucky is. They just don't care. So you get very little feedback on these condemnations. Now, someday somebody's going to step up and say, you know, I think that was worth $100,000. I've got a lawyer foolish enough to believe me. We're going to go to trial. But it's not happened yet. So those are the 2 arrows in your quiver, and we use them all the time. We probably don't use the nuisance, in my opinion, as much as we should. But you got to keep in mind, it's easy to drive by a place and there's trash and old furniture and everything all around it and say, boy, I need to clean, the city needs to clean that up. Well, the city can't spend $2,000 or $3,000 cleaning it up because there's 50 of them, there's 100 of them, you know. You just don't have the ability. But you do have the right to. It's just the cost involved sometimes is prohibitive. But I'll let the mayor address that side of it. But these nuisance ordinances, you know, people can be charged with them. They're warned that if they don't clean it up or cut the grass, we'll do it. Charge them, put a lien on their property. That will affect their ability to borrow money on it. That will affect their ability. It stays with the land, so if they die, their kids are liable for it. So you can't shake us off. Once we put a lien on there, it goes with the dirt. So eventually we get paid, you know. And if we want to press it, as I said, and take it to court, Judge will order it sold on the courthouse steps, we'll get our money. Some new owner comes along and owns it. They get so much time to clean it up, or I'll start it again on them. That's our system. So,
All right. Thank you, Randy.
thank you, man.
We'll move the police report up and then let Jim add on to the progress he's made with the litter board and some of them.
You guys see what we got on the report there, so I'll let that stand as known. You'll notice our complaints are down a little bit. That's because we're so short-staffed that other agencies are helping to cover for us. They don't do the reports, their schedules, their shift reports like we do. So you're seeing there that I covered approximately 30. There is probably more than that, but other agencies are helping cover. I want to let everybody know about, we were talking about the trash. Litter warden is getting back up with me to figure out what we can do on that. Question, Mr. Randall, is should I cite them under our ordinance, or is there a KRS that I can cite them for that might have a little bit more clout? How should we handle that? Should I just keep doing like we're doing, warning them, and eventually it'll come to?
There's no state statute that gives a municipality the right to cite for nuisance. There are state nuisance statutes, but that's if you're a neighbor and you want to sue that person's caused a nuisance on you, a private cause of action.
So best bet for us then is to,
Now leaving out one, the county may have its own ordinance that the litter warden is working on.
that's what we're working on in Middle Town too. Okay, and then also on dogs. Everybody wants to gripe and complain about these dogs. Last week, we removed a whole bunch of them. As soon as we removed them, 10 minutes after I got dry after getting soaked chasing these things down, I get somebody griping because they're gone, their dog was gone. So it's like, listen, here's what we're doing. The dog warden and I have agreed, he's gonna try to come in town at least twice a week. Every dog he sees that is not on a leash, not on a chain, not behind the fence, if it's walking off the property, on the street, on the sidewalk, it is gone. He is going to take it. Now, rest assured, when he takes them, they go to a shelter. The shelter is a no-kill shelter. We do this for a purpose because we don't want an animal to have to be euthanized because its owner isn't smart enough to keep it up. So we're going to have the dogs get, we'll try to contact the owners. If we can't, then the dogs get adopted out. And so one of which I know has been adopted out, and that thing's living life O'Reilly right now. It went from being in a total horrible situation to where he's got his own room. I mean, the people called me and showed me pictures of him. He's got his own room. He's fat as this table now, and he's having a great time. So, one other thing I want to address real quick. Ms. Ernestine and I talked earlier this week, or last week. We went to a class on substance abuse deflection. Suffice to say, we're polar opposites on that, my thoughts in the group. However, one good thing to come out. I noticed a couple weeks ago, we have been finding some needles around our school bus stops. Not a whole lot, and most of them are just capped. They're probably diabetic, but they're not used. However, I checked with the school. The school has Narcan at the schools, but they don't have it on the buses. My thought is if we're finding this stuff at the bus stops, by the time I would get there, or EMS or somebody else, especially during spring like this flip-flop season, if the kids would get stuck, at least if there's a bus that's going to be there shortly, they'll have the Narcan on the bus. So Mountain Comp and the health department, Nurse Lisa and I at the school, we're working on getting that done so that we've got the stuff. Now, what I understand is we have to have training.
You do.
And I haven't figured that one out yet, because you can go to the health department and say, you know, I've got friends that are dopers, can I have Narcan? They say, sure, here you go. So I haven't figured out why we got to train to save our kids, but anyway, we'll get that done too. So our school buses are going to have it on there, so we'll be good there. So other than that, I think that's all I wanted to.
Well, that may be Greek to some of those bus drivers. They may not be used to that.
Yeah, that's true, too,
As
yeah.
much as you are as an EMT and you as a nurse, it's totally different. They need the proper training
It
for
works with
that.
kids, you know.
Absolutely.
Oh, and one more thing real quick before I forget. Please, 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 do not burn, folks. Do not burn. We've got a burn ban, how do you why? But it's like today, we almost caught a hillside on fire because they were out burning boxes. Just don't burn. Put your trash in the trash. Let the garbage guys come around and pick it up. That's their job, they're good at it, they get it done. You pay for that anyway, so why risk burning your house, your neighbor's house, the woods? Just use your trash, just please don't burn.
Hey, these folks that you talked to about the trash, what's their response? Are they gonna act like they're gonna clean up around their house? And what's their,
Some of them do, and then they turn around and do it all again, so it kind of makes it tough. Armed with some of the information we've gotten from Mr. Tackett, that's going to help us out because we can put a little bit more threat to it. But generally, when I tell them, hey, listen, there's a bunch of rats around here, health department's coming, somebody gets bit, guess who's in trouble? It's going to be you. Usually that kind of helps out, and they clean up some, but then they go right back to it. Or, for example, one of the ones we have in Mudtown, the people go to jail. They're going to rehab, they come back, and it's just as cluttered as it was before. So we're kind of dealing with that too. So I think we're probably just going to have to suck it up and clean it up ourselves and try to get money from them on down the road. That would probably be it definitely won't be easy because we're spending man hours and money to clean up somebody's mess, but they're off to rehab, they're off to jail. Who's going to clean it up if we don't? And we got to get it done. So, but generally what they do is they say, yeah, sure, we'll do it. I give them a week to 10 days to do it. You come back, there's hardly any improvement. Or sometimes they clean the snot out of everything, and it's great for the first 2 weeks, and you come back later, and there it is again. So. Short of us getting the property, as was described by our attorney, really, that's the best route, is to get the property, then we can keep it.
What's the fine that you issue? What's
The city ordinance used to be $25. I don't know if that's the same one, because we had it in our city citations that we would get.
Well, how do we change that? That's nothing.
Well, it's the ordinances, the county's ordinance works when ours don't. Enforcing the city ordinance is a completely different ordeal through the court system than it is what the county does. So him working with the county to get the first initial contact and get them started. If they keep it clean after that, we're good. If they don't keep it clean, then we can come in and clean up the property. And then after we clean it up, we'll lean it up, and if we have to do it again, we'll do another lean. And then it starts through courts that
The good thing about going through the county is that's his only job. So he doesn't have to answer complaints during the day too. So I can get, like today, I got hemmed up about 5 different things. And I couldn't really get one thing finished before I had to go on to something else. So that's his only job. Now, this is not his own area, just like with dog work, this isn't his own area. But at least, we got somebody dedicated to that. So between the two of us, hopefully we'll get some stuff done.
Alrighty, and just to add on about the dogs, the biggest issue with the dogs right now, not only they're safely getting, they're getting run over and stuff like that, but they're sort of packing up, and then when they're coming by the old apartment building down here and people trying to walk town, they're following them, they're growling. One of them had a cat in its mouth, they tried to revive the cat and it didn't make it. I mean, it's, a dog by itself probably acts pretty good, but you get 2 or 3 together, they sort of pack up. So you may have a dog who thinks fine, but it gets out with 3 or 4 other dogs and somebody could get bit or hurt, and it's on you to do that. So we just ask they keep them up, take care of them, and enjoy them, and we don't have to take them to the shelter. So, all righty, council, got anything they want to talk about tonight? Any questions about any of the projects or where we're at in the world?
Mine was just about garbage. I'm on garbage detail.
Well, Jim's made a dent. I got a call from somebody the other night, said they're out here working on it. It's sort of late at night when they were cleaning up. I said, well, give them to midnight, let's see how it works. So, anyway.
Josh had a question about, will we have a cleanup this spring?
Yeah, it's